All right, in this video, we're gonna be trying out some new irons from Yonex. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So I've got 3 different irons here today from Yonex. This is a brand that's been around making golf clubs for a long time, but they haven't really been in the US and the European markets for a while. Way back, I can remember back in the 90s, Yonex had maybe the longest driver. I mean, definitely was the longest driver at that point in time by a mile. The thing was a monster. You may also remember, if you go far enough back, they had tour staff, including Phil Mickelson, played Yonex. Again, they haven't really been in the US market, in the European market in recent years so much, but they're starting to kind of move back into those markets. And so we've got 3 different irons. I'm going to be trying them out today to see if maybe Yonex should be on your radar. All right, so let's start off with the most forgiving option, which is the E-Zone CB901. This club is going to be what I would call slightly oversized. The overall length of the face, the height of the face, definitely a little bit on the larger side. It has, I would say, a moderate amount of offset. For this style of club, I would say this is probably pretty average to low offset. Overall lines on it, the top line, pretty thin for this style of club. When you set it down, it is not thick, chunky looking. It's a pretty thin top line, especially when you look at it compared to the overall size of the head. It matches up probably to the small side, if anything, based on the overall size of the head. The sole, again, just like the top line, it's pretty narrow, honestly, for, again, the style of club that it is. So let's see what happens. I would sort of, what would I compare this to? This would kind of be, well, let's hit a few. I'm going to think about it while I'm debating here. Loft on this 7-iron is 29 degrees, so definitely, again, a little more in the game improvement loft settings. Tugged it just a little bit, but felt really nice. Let's see what we got out of that. Whoa, okay, we got a lot out of that. 87 mile an hour club head speed with 124 ball speed. That is a pretty high efficiency number. I'll say that. All right, let's hit another one. That one was maybe a little further out on the toe, not quite as solid, but I think it's still going to go pretty far. Let's see what we got there. Yeah, spin came down a little bit on that one, the efficiency down a little bit on that one, but still pretty darn long. Again, 29 degrees of loft, so we would expect to get pretty good distance out of it. So I'm still trying to come up with a good comparable club, what this kind of would be similar to. This one's a little bit tricky because it's a little bit, it's oversized, but at the same time, the lines on it are on the thinner side. So it's kind of like 2 different clubs combined into one. Definitely working the left side a little bit this morning. That thing was a monster. I'm afraid to see what the efficiency was on that. Whew. Okay, 89 mile an hour, 143 on the efficiency. Spin a little bit low. I'm just kind of shutting it down a little bit, which is why that efficiency is a little higher than what I would usually expect to see with my GC quad. Let's see if we can hit one a little bit more on the target line. That was a little better. It was slightly off center, but definitely better on line. Let's see what we get for the numbers on that guy. That seems more realistic there. 1.36 on the efficiency. Usually, I don't ever get efficiency numbers with a 7-iron over about 1.38, maybe 1.39, unless I shut it down hard and it goes left like some of those. So that's much more reasonable. Again, that was actually slightly off the toe side, so that's to be expected. Let's see if I can hit a little, cut shot with this and see what we get out of that. It's always nice when I want to cut it and it cuts. Feel on this, sound on this, it's really solid feeling. I do like the sound, I do like the feel of it. It is what they consider a game improvement iron, but the overall dimensions of it and the overall feel of it really feel more like a player style club. It's more of like a slightly oversized player style club with a little more offset versus something big and thick and kind of chunky and maybe a little bit, clicky feeling. You don't get that with this guy. This is actually really enjoyable to hit in this category. Let's try hit one more straight one. Again, a little bit out on the toe, but by no means a bad shot. And again, still feel-wise, feel-wise really nice. So I like this one. I like this one quite a bit. I like the overall dimensions of the head. I like the fact that the top line's not too thick. I like the fact that the sole is on the narrower side. Yes, it has a little more offset, but it is not an aggressive amount of offset. So for the category where this club kind of falls, it checks a lot of boxes. All right, next up we've got the E-Zone CB702. This is going to be more, I guess, what we would call the player's distance style iron, based on the overall dimensions of it. This is more of a pocket cavity design, so it does have that little sort of cutout down here. The dimensions on this one are slightly smaller blade, that being both toe to heel, and the height of it looks a little bit smaller overall, but the sole is actually a little bit wider, and I would say the top line's pretty close to that 901, but definitely the sole is a little bit wider on this guy than in that Game Improvement Club. So we'll see what that ends up doing here. Again, offset, it has a little bit of offset. It's not an aggressive amount, but there is some offset there. You do notice it. Loft on this one is 31 degrees on the 7-iron. That was off the toe. Definitely got a little more curve out of it because of that. It was a little high on the face. Spin's probably going to be a little bit lower because of that. Yeah, 5,000. Again, the efficiency, okay. I've yet to hit one quite in the middle. Well, a little toey again, a little drawy again. That one went a long way. Yeah, again, shut the face down a little bit and definitely went pretty far. You can see the efficiency there at 1.4. This one feels like it's a little bit more workable. Let's see if we can hit a fade here. Thus far, again, the ball wants to move a little more on me. Nice little fade right there again. That was hit solid right there. That should be a pretty good representation of the carry distance. What do we get? 180 on that one. Efficiency at 137. That feels pretty true. That thing was definitely very high That one felt really good. Now, just so we're all on the same page here, these Yonex clubs, these forged irons, are not inexpensive. These are definitely in the premium category as far as how much you're going to pay for these. They're going to be, you know, kind of up there with those other Japanese forged style clubs like the Miuras, things like that. But it is, again, it's another Japanese forged iron. So feel-wise, I really like them so far. If I was going to pick between the two I've hit so far, I give the slight edge to the 901 versus the 702. I just like the overall shape of the 901 a little bit better. This one is very small when you set it behind the ball, but it still has this wider sole, so it's a slightly different look to it, whereas I think the 901 is a little bit more what I consider traditional looking, and so I think I like that one a little bit more. This one isn't bad, but it is definitely compact. It is, again, it's in that player's distance category, but it is probably pretty small for that category. Okay, third up, we've got this E-Zone CB301. This is definitely going to be the player-oriented club, so much more compact. Overall size of the face, pretty similar to that 702. Honestly, when I look down on it, it maybe looks slightly bigger than that 702, which is, I think, probably more just an optical illusion. Maybe because it has more loft, it looks a little bit bigger because you see more of the face on it. But it looks pretty typical for this style of head. Nice, thin top line. The sole on it is pretty narrow, and it just looks well proportioned overall. Again, has that graphite insert in the back to help with the sound and the feel. And this is going to have much more traditional lofts like you would expect from a player style iron. So this one we'd expect to go a little bit shorter. We'll see how it goes. I really like the looks of this one. This one has minimal offset. Again, what you would expect for this style of golf club. It's a little bit toe side, but felt pretty good even so. Oh no, tugged it. Definitely got a case of the lefts today for some reason. Shutting everything down just a little bit. That was better. That looks pretty right on line. So 175 carry. That sounds about right. Efficiency at 1.36 with the loft that's on here. That's kind of where we'd expect it to be. Again, you're never going to be as efficient as you get higher lofted clubs because you just lose some of that efficiency because of that spin that's produced in the loft. Let's try and hit a little cut shot here. Definitely moves, no problem. You can move it around as you see fit. This one feels really good. I do really like the feel of this one. It feels a little bit more blade-like. Feels a little more traditional, feels a little more forged in that sensation. Yeah, I like this one a lot. All right, here's all the numbers from everything. Nothing really surprising here. The 901 definitely was the longest and had the lowest spin, has the lowest loft. The 301 was the shortest, had slightly higher spin. So again, nothing overly surprising there. As far as the overall sound and feel of them, the 301 was really good. Definitely like that. And my second favorite was the 901. I liked that one. I thought that one actually had a very similar sort of sensation to it as this 301. The 702 does feel a little bit different, and it is definitely a little bit more compact. It's an interesting mix. Overall, I think the 301 and the 901 are my two personal favorites. I think both those are really, really good. So there you go. Something a little bit new, something a little different you may not have even been considering or even thought about or even had seen these before. But the forged irons from Yonex, definitely worth a look. Going to be upcoming doing a driver video with the Yonex because, as I mentioned way back, Yonex had the longest driver by a mile in my opinion. We're going to see how the new driver stacks up against some other modern drivers, but that'll be in an upcoming video. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you go down below, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you'll be alerted when I post new videos. If you're interested in a fitting, if you'd like to be fit for these Yonex irons or for any number of other irons, or if you've got a custom build or a repair that you want to get taken care of, all my contact information is down below, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.